big games coming up today in Big 12 basketball, and I am excited for your team to hopefully lose. I still don't know, like, if Texas Tech beats Houston and Houston gets an extra day of rest, awesome. Yes. If Baylor beats Iowa State and Iowa State gets an extra day of rest, freaking rocks, man. If Iowa State beats Baylor and Baylor gets an extra day of rest, I have more confidence in these teams. I just don't. When we turn on the selection show and they go to the Big 12 and they say, boo, doo, 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 it's CBS music, or 3 seed in the East region, Iowa State. They're not going to mention a single game out of the Big 12 tournament. They're not. They're going to say, Iowa State's a team that dominated defensively all season. They beat Houston earlier in the year when they were the number 2 ranked team in the country. They beat Kansas. They beat TCU on the road. That's the conversation we're going to have about Iowa State. It's not going to be, oh, did you see their wild performance in the Big 12 tournament? A 3 seed out down south, Baylor, the Bears. You see what they do in the Big 12 tournament? Nope. That's not the conversation. Instead, it's here's a team that lost 3 games in a row at one point in Big 12 play, but was able to pick it back up and find their way to a 3 seed this season with wins at TCU and against Kansas and leading Texas the whole way and dominating Texas. This Baylor Bear squad is dangerous. Houston, number 1 overall team in America going to March Madness. Did you see what they did in the Big 12 tournament? Nope. Yep, you got to deal with it. Texas Tech, they're a 5 seed. Oh, wow. What a performance. Making it to the semifinals, the Big 12 tournament out in Kansas City. No. It's not what we talk about. However, if I may contradict myself entirely, these are very fun matchups. These are very, very fun matchups. Texas Tech and Houston. Houston favored by 8.5 in this game. The Cougars are what we call in my industry good at basketball. The only game recently where I felt like, oh, Houston's going to lose this game was that one against Baylor. It took them to overtime, 82-76. They hit the buzzer beater that didn't count. Then they had some clunkers like the game at Oklahoma where they let up 85 points. But then they said, you know what? Our offense is good. We're going to score 87. They've scored 76 against Kansas in a 76-46 win, maybe the most dominant all season long. And they just held TCU to 0 points for the first 9 minutes of a basketball game. 60-45 was the final of that one. Houston is, and I'll make the case later in the show as I joined Locked On Locked On Sports today, but run some of that segment later on. Make the case that Houston is an NBA team. It's like the closest we've gotten to an NBA team. They have not lost a game since February 3rd on the road against Kansas. Since then, they've rattled off double-digit wins. They were 20-3 then. They were 19-3 then. They're sitting at 29-3 as we speak. They're the best team in the conference. For Texas Tech, they can play spoiler. Texas Tech has won 3 straight. Beating Baylor, well, now 4 straight. Beating Baylor, beat West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Baylor, and then getting a win against, I'll say this, getting a win against a very good BYU team who could afford a loss yesterday. Texas Tech and Houston, 6 p.m., then 8:30. Can we just quick? Why? You've been playing the games in the middle of the day all week. Do it again. I just can't. This is 6 p.m. Central Time, by the way, and then 8:30 Central Time for Baylor and Iowa State. Why do we have to do this? 9:30 on the East Coast? Just stop. Play the games at normal times. I want to go to bed at some point in my life. Baylor, Iowa State. Once again, I cannot emphasize enough. The outcome of these games matters for almost nothing. The only team that all of this truly matters for is Texas Tech. They could possibly, they could help their seeding. Everybody else is stuck. Baylor's a 3 seed, Iowa State's a 2 seed, Houston's a 1 seed. This game between Iowa State and Baylor, this fun little scrimmage where the two teams can have fun and do whatever they want. Between a couple teams that didn't finish the regular season off on the right foot. They lost games on the road to respectable Texas Tech, if you're Baylor, to respectable Kansas State, if you're Iowa State. Though one of those teams, Tech, is a tournament team that the Bears lost to. Kansas State, not a tournament team that Iowa State lost to. They are what we call good at defense. The number 2 shot quality team in the country defensively is Iowa State. Number 1 team in the country defensively is Houston. So if Baylor beats Iowa State today against the number 2 defense in the country, the Bears then get a treat by playing the number 1 defense in the country. Now, there is part of this that could go in like the confidence category. I don't think that Iowa State needs any more confidence. I do believe like Eve Mesey, Jacoby Walter, the young core of Baylor They could use some confidence. Like if they went out and won the Big 12 tournament, good for you guys. You're not going to win March Madness now. That's literally, it's just what I'm reading right now. Does not, if you win the Big 12 tournament, you are legally required to not win March Madness, is what I'm reading. However, it's good confidence. Maybe you go to the Elite Eight because you're like, oh, we can do this. We can win in a tournament format, in a single elimination format. Fun, simulation of March. Great. Wear yourself out. Literally wear yourself out, kid. For Iowa State, I don't think you need that. This matters more for Baylor. And I think the Texas Tech-Houston game matters more for Texas Tech. If they get a win, if it's Baylor and Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship, Baylor has more confidence. Tech can move up to a 4 seed, and we're all saying, hey, that rocks. That's pretty fun. I still think, like, even with a loss, I think Texas Tech could be seated below BYU. That's what the committee does. They don't go like, oh, well, we have to stay true to the matchups. Nope. They do not care. They don't, because they don't watch conference tournaments. They just don't watch. They see if you won your conference, and that's about it. Every year we get to this point, it's like, well, they win 2 games in the conference tournament. I think, ugh, could you not just won 2 more games in the regular season so that we just didn't have to watch this or care about it? You guys are going to love my March Madness coverage. If this is upsetting you, if the way that I talk about the Big 12 tournament, which is just I'm passionate about the subject, if that is something that upsets you, I'm sorry. I promise that March Madness, I will be much more happy-go-lucky. I do like the format of March Madness. I do enjoy the tournament thing that we're about to play. Coming up, let's talk like overall broad view of the NCAA tournament and where the Big 12 can go from here in the NCAA tournament. This is Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV. Amazon Fire TV is where I go when I want to watch YouTube. When I want to watch YouTube, I go to Amazon Fire TV. I just have it. I boop, boop, boop. I open it up and I watch Locked On Big 12. Fire TV is your destination for sports, live games, highlights, in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs. You can basically, you plug it in and it's just there. Everything's there that you want. You want to have a Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us at Locked On and most of the big league pros and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels lets you dive into all the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on the latest in the world of sports. March Madness, NBA, MLB, lots more. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. Trust me on this one. To learn more, visit Amazon.com/Locked On Fire TV. Amazon.com/Locked On Fire TV. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is where I go to make money. When I think, I need some money, I need to fill my account with money, I go to FanDuel. Right now, $200. $200 at FanDuel.com/locked on in free bets if you put a $5 bet down on your favorite team to win. And they do. Put a $5 bet on the money line for that one team that you think is going to win that one game. And when they win that one game, $200 in free play. And what's great about that is March Madness is coming up. So you can use that during March Madness. Don't you want $200 free dollars? Free bets, free play, that's great. I would love that. And I can get that at FanDuel.com/locked on. I think that Iowa State's going to win their first round game. Great. I can go put money on it at FanDuel. They'll pay me. I get paid to watch basketball. And that's dope. At FanDuel.com, well, not like literally, but cool. Dope is in what, the kids say cool. FanDuel.com/locked on today.